What's up, guys? Welcome to Chasing Projects. I'm Jeff, and this is your SoCal fishing forecast for Thursday, June 6th. Quick look at our 10-day weather here. It looks like the last 10 days and the 10 days before that. But we have officially moved from May gray to June gloom. It is here, but it's soon going to be departing sometime after next weekend, it appears. Pretty much the same thing every day. Morning, fog, clouds, burning off in the afternoon, and high 60s to low 70s for it appears to be the remainder of the week. And we can verify this by our wind model here on windy.com. We have low wind speeds for the majority of the week here. As we slide into the weekend, the eddy flow really starts to pick up a little bit more, and it might bring us a little bit more of a bump come Sunday. But overall, nothing really concerning. Maybe a little bit of west swell might pick up, but currently the marine forecasts weren't showing anything dramatic, maybe up to 3 feet, 8 seconds. But from what I can see here, the wind speed is still below 10, 12 knots. And not really too concerning. So we'll see how that plays out as we head into next week. I mean, this is still farther out, but it looks like the stuff picks up towards next weekend. So if you got a chance to get out there, it looks like this week would be the better option compared to next week. But we'll see how it plays out. Again, rain forecast not showing anything crazy. Unfortunately, those clouds have been blocking our view, and we're not getting a really good chart here. This is the 3-day. Unfortunately, the 8-day chart looks pretty much the same. Completely useless, unreliable information. So maybe communicate on the radio a little bit what water conditions people are seeing out there on the radio, temperature and clarity-wise. And then you can kind of look for those temp breaks along the way, but more than likely you're going to find along where that wind line has been for the most part. Same with watercolor, 3-day. What I do like about this 3-day chart is our area of concern about a red tide along the coast is pretty much dried up. I hopped out on Monday, just for a quick 5-minute ride in the boat, make sure everything was dialed in the way I wanted it. And I didn't see any signs of red tide at a Dana Point anywhere. So a little bit of green water, but that's not unusual for this time of year or that close to shore. So not too concerned about it. The 8-day chart looks pretty much the same as it did before. A little bit cleaner water here on the inside of Furnicle Mini. And then as you head out west here, you're going to find some greener water. But see how it goes. Using the bottom detail, we're going to talk about this week's fishing and what we've been seeing so far. There's still been a good run of sea bass up here at the Channel Islands. However, just not really biting that well the last few days. Definitely getting a few good looks at them. Just not a lot of biters, unfortunately. Moving west, no real good looks at Nick with the wind being the way it's been. Probably not worth the drive out this far. You do have a chance still at Santa Barbara Island for a sea bass. Seems like the sea bass fishing there this year, aside from the Channel Islands, we haven't had any knockout days yet. But I would say that the grade of fish has been pretty impressive. Seen a lot of 40s to 60s. Some of these coastal fish have been. I think Jazz had that one that was like 74. I mean, that's a fish of a lifetime. So can't really complain about the quality of the fish. The quantity just hasn't really been aggressive yet. And we really haven't seen that much squid around at Catalina. I know the Carnage is coming back out this weekend to try and catch some more. There's been a little bit on the backside. So hopefully they can put them together. And again, some fish, at least yellowtails and sea bass have been around Catalina. And, just not a lot, but you got a chance. And fortunately, the island sea bass have just not really been the size that we saw the last couple of years of Catalina. More of the juvenile size, but give it a good look. You never know. San Clemente Island is actually kind of starting to pick up a little bit here the last couple of days. We've seen scattered fish, no real signs of squid, but I think there might be some around. Haven't quite seen or heard too much info. The Thunderbird has been out here the last couple of days. If you're looking to come to the island, they have caught some really nice fish. I know the Apollo has been out here as well. And the Amigo and a lot of the other 22nd Street boats have been up this way. So you do got a good chance. There's been some bigger grade sea bass on the backside. Seems like there's some of the home guard ones. Again, not a giant quantity of them, but the grade has been pretty solid. There's one that was like 50. I mean, that's a beast. Front side, there's been a little bit more of the juvenile size yellows in the 7 to 10 pound range. There's still a lot of flying fish and big mackerel along the front side. So eventually I think the bluefin will swarm this up around the island and give us a good bite, maybe in a couple more weeks. And we'll see how that plays out. Coastally, nothing really crazy going on. We saw occasional coastal sea bass get picked up here last month on some of the artificial reefs. I will say, even the reef in front of my house, it's starting to get a little bit more kelp on it than what's been there in years past. And it's actually floating on the surface, which is a good sign because I'll tell you, I haven't seen that in quite some time. So maybe some of this coastal kelp is starting to come back and we'll get a little bit better population turnout as far as the fish wise, and hopefully a little bit increase in fishing as well. Moving down south, still an occasional random yellowtail getting caught at the northwest corner of La Jolla. They again appear to be home guards fish. Nothing of a lot of numbers, but good quality. So if you want to stay close to home, have some fun, spend some time on the boat, not burn a lot of gas, some of these things might be a good option, especially if you don't want to head out west. Coronado Islands have slowed down a little bit. There's still some fish around, a couple of yellows here and there. Nothing lights out yet. Most of the boats, like the San Diego, have opted for offshore fishing versus the island fishing, and they're varying success. At least the volume of fish seems to be moving up significantly than what we've seen. One day they were catching a whole bunch of bonito. They only had one chance of bluefin, and then the next day they caught quite a few bluefin, and then no bonito. So it's kind of a yin and yang and back and forth, and that's really kind of depends on where the bait is stacked up and how green the water is. So this stuff is going to be constantly changing here over the next several days, but you definitely got a good chance. The stuff that they're seeing in this area wasn't the big stuff. Is really like the 30 to 50 pound size fish. Still great fish to catch and plenty of fun. The boys down at Amara's at Ensenada have been again catching fish all the way from the Finger to the 238 and this whole area, trolling Mad Max, their usual thing. They've been pretty successful. So basically we have two biomasses of bluefin, almost three, but there's been one that's kind of been following this coastal canyon up. It seems like some of it is reaching up here, that's being caught on the San Diego and some of those other full day boats. And then there's a larger volume that's more out towards the West Butterfly. And I've actually hung out there for almost a week and a half now. So this has been that really incredible night bite that's been going on the last few days. I told you guys not to worry too much about the bite slowing down. Everything goes in phases. When things turn off, they turn back on 3 to 7 days later, and here we are. The night bite's been absolutely insane, and the day bite has been a little bit slower. And probably over the next 4 to 5 days, you'll probably see that reverse as we come through. Today's the new moon, so absolutely no moon. Getting pretty dark out there. So we'll see this thing probably reverse and get more of a daytime bite, and then the night thing will shut off. Just the way the wave goes. You got to ride the highs, you got to ride the lows, and hopefully you end up in the right spot. But overall, bites are coming on all sizes of jigs during the night. Small profiles, big profiles. A lot of West Coast jiggers, KV fish, 400 gram, 250 gram. If you saw on their Instagram, there one guy caught like 3 one night or 7 the next night. Some insane number. Obviously, sharing or releasing, whatever you want to do. Take what you need, release it if you can, or share it with your compadre. But don't let things go to waste. Make sure you take care of those fish. And just like as someone that has been on a boat when things go wild and insane, and you got a lot of fish coming overboard, those deckhands don't have time to believe every fish like right away. And I know everyone wants to get a jig right back in the water and keep fishing, but it's really important that you take care of those fish and really try and keep the meat in as best shape as possible. I know they got to get bled, gilled and gutted, tagged before they even make it into the fish hole to start cooling down. So, maybe take an extra minute, put a spike in your bag if you can, a pair of scissors if you got some, and if your fish hits that deck and the deckhand has got to move on, take an extra 30 seconds, spike that fish in the head if you can. Make sure you kill it out of its misery as quickly as possible. Try and keep that meat in the best shape as possible, and then once it's stopped moving, if you put your scissors into the gill plate and start cutting out the gills, you'll help bleed that thing faster, and hopefully you can get a hose in it and cool it off and get some of that blood out as quickly as possible. And I understand that we got 15 fish on the deck; they're not all going to make it in the hold right away, and especially when they're big ones, you got to tie loops of string. If you guys pay attention, you'll start putting a timer on some of those fish, and if it was on a private boat, that thing would be iced already and in a kill bag as quickly as possible. So I understand how things go, but like I said, sometimes that extra minute or two of taking care of your fish makes all the difference, especially after a long trip. If you're going to kill, nice big quality fish, and especially this is sashimi grade fish here that you're going to want to eat, especially raw, try and take the extra minute and clean it up. If you ever had a fish that's not gone well, the stuff turns into mushy dog meat, and you're like, especially if you clean your own fish. I know some people like to take this stuff to the processor, but I clean all my own fish and do the vacuum seal, the whole thing. You'll know which ones weren't taken care of, especially if you're cutting it yourself. So, all right, guys, that's it for this week. Be safe out there. If you want to support the channel, feel free to visit our tackle shop at chasingpelagics.com. And we kind of got all the stuff that works for this area. We try and focus on only selling the stuff that works here. We don't stock random crap. We just try and stock the stuff that works, or stuff that I'm willing to fish myself. So that's it for this week, guys. We'll see you next week, and be safe out there. Cheers. Hey, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and check out our website and online store at chasingpelagics.com. And make sure you share the stoke.